Hi, I'm Kathy Gardner and
I'm Scott Weaver.
And together we've put together a wonderful compilation of some of our favorite recipes.
Yep, recipes that have been handed down to us from our family members to things that we've discovered over the years we love and our families love as well. And we're hoping you do too.
Everything from New Year's to Christmas. Join us.
Welcome back, Scott Weaver again, and you're in Chapter 11, November, so happy Thanksgiving. What I'd like to do today is to make you my take on a sweet potato casserole. So first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your oven is on at 375 and getting preheated. Then you're going to take 5 yams if you're doing a big casserole. I'm not going to do the biggest, so if you're following along on the recipe, I've cut things down. That's always okay. You can add to it as well. Just remember not to increase like by doubling it if you're only adding 1 yam or you're only taking away 1 yam. So you want to keep it still kind of spiced up. Alright, so you boil your yams, skin and all, until you can take a fork and you stick it in and it drops right off your fork. It's done. Take it off the stove, and when it's cool enough, you're going to peel with a paring knife like I did the skin off. You can still see it's kind of warm. Then you're going to take a knife and just kind of cut them in big chunks and then in half again, just so it's going to be easier to mash up. Set that aside. Now we're going to put it in this bowl because it's bigger to mash them up. So I like to take a hand masher and just nice, like you would a regular potato. And I'll show you here in a second what it starts to look like. You can see it's pretty fibrous. You can also see the steam pouring off of it. And you just keep doing that. And for this amount, you don't need a full cup of butter, but you do need a half a stick, not a full stick of butter. That's a half a cup. You need 1/4 cup of that. And you go ahead and hand mix that in right now so that it gets melted through all the potatoes. And it's nice and yummy. There we go. Melted in. You can see how it comes off that way. Take the things you've already used, set them aside. And now we're going to use the whisk for this portion because this is where we've got to add our other ingredients. So normally it's a cup of cream, heavy cream. This time it's only about a half a cup. And let's just wipe that off so we don't make a mess. And a half a cup of sugar. And before we do anything else, put it in here, turn it on 1, and let it spin around for a bit to start to mix. You don't want to whip, you want to mix, stir, so usually you're not going to go above probably 4 on a mixer. And there you go, a little bit higher. Get it all mixed in. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And you're going to end up with little bits of chunks of the potato, the sweet potato, and that's fine. Because if you overcook them, then you get real stringy, and they're not as good, in my opinion. Now you add your eggs, oops, and you do the same thing. You stir until you get those mixed in. And so, you know, Thanksgiving is a great holiday because you get to hang out with family, with friends, and, you know, we're thankful for all that we have, you know. I may not have much, but I have my family. That's all I need. Really, that's all I need. So now that's going. I can add my cinnamon about a little over a teaspoon on this, not quite a teaspoon and a half. Then a teaspoon of nutmeg, and oh my gosh, you can smell it. And then of course a teaspoon of salt. And you let that all mix in. And while that's mixing, I'm going to get my tray that's going to go in the oven. No need to spray it down. This is a custard kind of thing, really. It's not a custard, but it's a casserole that doesn't, there's no crust for something to stick. You're going to just scoop it out onto a plate or a bowl. Okay, so you've mixed it pretty well. We're going to go up one more number real quick and just make sure we got what we need. That looks good. And let's just, oh, you don't want to do that because then you make a mess. That's not good. Well, it's okay. I have to clean the mess. There's no one else that's going to clean it, so I only hurt myself. All right, we're going to take that off, set it there, lock that, and just move that out of the way so we have room to play. All right, those can sit there. All right, so now you can see what it's going to look like as we pour it into the bowl or the pan. You just use your little spatula and you just get all of that in there, nice and neat. And then you just do that, smooth it out. And because mine isn't as thick as it would be if I did what I recommend you normally do if you're making for more people, it's going to be a little thicker, a little more of it. So mine will cook a little faster than what the book tells you that it's going to cook. Now we're going to trade space. I'm going to move this here because we have one last thing we have to do before we put it in the oven. We have some chopped pecans here, and we have some brown sugar. And you're going to use your hands with this, and we're going to chop up these pecans, and we're just going to run our knife like that. And we're not going to make them terribly small, but we're also not going to make them terribly big pieces. And if you've got people that have nut allergies, don't put pecans on, just sprinkle the top with the brown sugar. Or you can make two, just make sure the surface that you use and the pan that you use is nut-free when you're doing the nut-free one. It's not had nuts on it or it's been completely washed very well so that you don't accidentally get some of the pecan oil onto their food. You really don't want somebody to get sick, obviously. So now you just take the pecans, and you can use your hands, it's perfectly fine. And you just put them in with the brown sugar, like that. And then we're going to just trade places again. Oh, maybe. Like that. And then I'm just, again, going to use my hand and kind of mix the nuts and the sugar. And now with this, you have to eye it because I don't like a thick layer on top. I just like a little bit. So I just kind of do this, right? I take the brown sugar mixed with the nuts and I just spread it around like that. And it's going to melt on the top, and the top's going to kind of become crunchy, right? Okay, so now we're going to put it in the oven, and we will, oh, it's up here, and I'll be back shortly to show you what it looks like when it's done cooking. Okay, so you take it out of the oven and set it somewhere where it's not going to burn anything. Still kind of hot, but I'm going to show you. That's what it looks like. Nice and crusty on the top, nice and set on the inside, and oh so yummy. So hopefully you will enjoy this, your family will enjoy this. It's It's one of my favorite Thanksgiving Day treats, as it were. So join us next month for our final chapter, chapter 12. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Join us again.